Ready? Yeah. Okay, Elisha, tell us about Carly, your character in the House of Wax.
Well, Carly is sort of one of those girls that's really ready to sort of get out of her small town of Gainesville, Florida, and ready to make it out in the Big Apple. You know, she sort of has big dreams and is very driven. But at the same time, she has a wonderful group of friends that at this moment in the film are sort of on their way to a football game and things go a little bad. So she also has a twin brother and a boyfriend in the film. The twin is played by Chad Michael Murray, and my boyfriend is played by Jared Padalecki. So that's sort of the dynamic that's sort of going on.
This part is very different from other things that you've done, you know, from 24 and Girl Next Door. So why did this part appeal to you?
Well, for all those reasons. I think when you're trying to figure out what the next project is going to be, you sort of want to, at least in my own opinion, want to get away from all the other projects that have sort of come before that. And as much as I loved playing Danielle in The Girl Next Door, and obviously Kim Bauer is such a specific character for me, it was important for me to go, okay, this movie is not only really fun to read, but this character's really strong and empowering and a great female character, and I thought, this is it. This is the right next movie.
Are you a fan of horror films? Or did you see the first?
I didn't see the first one until after we stopped filming, and then I kind of went back to it and watched a bit, and it's so dated, you know. I feel like this one around is for 2005 and for an audience that I think all of us will have a great time going to see it. You know, it's sort of 2005, and we've sort of amped up the gore, and the death sequences are quite interesting. You know, we've sort of got really creative with the death sequences, which I love.
What were some of the most challenging scenes for you?
The physicality of the role was sort of constantly running and screaming and blood and remembering what had happened before. I mean, there's so many things that happen to those characters throughout the course of the film before the ending kind of approaches, and you have to sort of remember what kind of happens first and second and third and go, where am I at and what state am I in? So there's this constant trying to be consistent and make the character make sense is tricky. It's tricky, but, you know, at the same time, when we're not panicking and screaming, we're laughing and joking around because it's just a good time.
What would you say is some of the hardest grueling scenes that you had to film? And because there was one scene where
with the lips. I had really decided, we had this great genius idea that we were going to use like fake glue, and it was going to, you know, we were going to have my lips glued together, and we were going to put a blood capsule, and then we got there and we sort of threw it out the window. You know, it didn't work, and I said, let's just get out the glue and really glue it, not with crazy glue, but definitely another sort of adhesive, and it was painful, but there was no other way to sort of physically show or convey on camera that my lips were sort of really tearing apart, you know. Not so much when you actually see me rip them apart, but after he sort of glues them shut, and that's being committed, as I like to call it.
This is your first horror film, I take it?
Yeah.
Was it challenging to show fear, do you think?
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
And screaming?
Yeah, I think screams have to come from a really, really dark and deep place. I mean, it's not that easy. Like, you can't go in and be like, yeah, you know, and think it's okay. You know, it's sort of, if you really want to impress or make the audience feel that sort of energy that you're trying to convey, I think it has to come from a real place. So I sort of had to go there and get myself sort of amped up and afraid. And we were lucky. The sets were pretty much real to life. I mean, this town that you see in the film was constructed 3 months prior to us getting there, and it was really made of wax, and there were really wax figures, so it was easy to be frightened a lot of the time.
So what was it like working with all that wax and having it all sprayed on you?
We worked with 20 tons of wax to make this movie, which in my opinion is mind-boggling, but there were times when it was really cold and the wax sort of was just went straight through to your bones, and you're kind of going, oh, I just want to get home and shower. And then there were other times where it was really hot, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, you know. So it fluctuated depending on what point in the film, you know, we were at. Sort of when it's a hard substance to the end where it's just going down, you know.
What was it like working with Joel Silver?
Phenomenal. He's such a fantastic producer, I think, for someone of his stature and who has made hit after hit after hit for so long, you assume that, oh, he's not going to care about this one. He's done what he needs to do in his lifetime, but yet the drive and sort of the passion to make great films in this sort of industry is still present, and it blows me away, because I figure if I was him, I'd be at home just living it up and forget the movies. I'm done, call it a day. But he's involved very much so, and with everything, and it's fascinating to watch him work. But he's great with the actors.
What about the rest of the cast members? How did you enjoy working with them?
Right there for a second. Just want to change battery. And speeding anytime.
Okay, so what was it like working with the rest of the cast?
You know what? I think we sort of had no choice but to become friends. Sort of, we got thrown in Australia and said, "Here, now go make a great horror film." And you're thinking, are we going to get along? But, we all really hit it off really well. And Paris and Chad and Jared and myself and Johnny, there's so many fun sort of young actors that were involved. And we did nothing but joke around and have a good time.
So were you at all worried about the kind of publicity, Paris would bring?
I thought it was a great idea. I can't imagine now, looking back and also seeing the final product, that any other person sort of playing that role. I think we sort of monopolized on a great idea and a great sort of gimmick, and at the same time she sort of has stepped in and become the actress, which I'm really excited for her, because everyone knows her as her, and now it's time to see her as Paige, and it's going to be an exciting time for her.
Wonderful. What was it like filming in Australia?
Amazing. It reminded me of Canada a lot, actually. Australia is sort of one of those places that sort of fairly new as far as development goes, but at the same time the people are just fantastic, and the crew is outstanding, and I miss it a lot, because we were there for 4 months, and it's you sort of look back and go, that was a really great experience, and you kind of miss it.
To go to any beaches?
Yeah, I mean, the apartment that I was staying in was actually literally on the beach. It was like we were shooting in Surfer's Paradise, which was paradise. So it was. Needless to say, I sort of thought that I was somehow in the back of my head living there for the rest of my life, and then I realized I had to go home after we stopped filming, but it was fun. It was so nice.
So most of us here in Canada remember you from Popular Mechanics and Kids, and you've grown so much since then.
Yeah.
Do you mind, talking about it?
Yeah, I think for me it's like, I think growing up in Canada and sort of realizing that I wanted to be an actress in Canada and working in Canada and doing great work in Canada just in itself was awesome. I think for me, if it wasn't for Popular Mechanics for Kids, I was saying on Dave Letterman's show last night, I was like, I'm the person that I am today because of that show. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that can say they had the same experiences as I did as a sort of teenager. And also, of course, like Are You Afraid of the Dark and all the sort of CTV movies and the Gemini, and it's sort of all of these things sort of were stepping stones to sort of where I'm at now, and they're extremely important to me.
Any upcoming film roles?
Yeah, I produced and starring in this independent film called The Quiet, and Edie Falco from The Sopranos is playing my mother in the film, and it's a little heavier, a little bit more dramatic, but one studio film and then one independent, one for them, one for me, sort of.
Any other type of roles that you maybe want to play?
I think it's time to do something light and fun. I think everyone's like, okay, enough already with the drama. But it's important for me to sort of do different things, and I try to make it interesting, and I want to play strong women, and I want the characters to be fun to watch, and I want people to go, oh, if she's in it, then we're confident that it's going to be a good time. But I think comedy is the next step, or something like it. Yeah.
So just one last question. You've just because I know you from when you were younger, and you've blossomed into this beautiful young woman.
Right.
What's it like now to be sort of known as this buxom blonde, sex symbol?
It's crazy. It's sort of I think it sort of comes with the territory. I think when people sort of are familiar with your work or sort of enjoy a specific character, especially when someone like Danielle from The Girl Next Door, it's hard not to get away from people thinking that that's who I am. But obviously my close friends and family know that that doesn't exist in my world. But it was a hell of a lot of fun creating that character and that sort of, and I think it's important as someone in film to, with every character, including Carly in House of Wax, to sort of be sexy in their own way, and maybe not so obvious as The Girl Next Door, but the strength and the sort of inner power that she has is sexy in her own right. So I don't think it's wrong to sort of feel like I want to look good too, you know.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elisha.
Very nice
Good luck
meeting
with
you.
everything.
Thank you so much.